Okay, we are Camelia's group, and my name is Yvette Robirosa. I'm going to be the first one to talk.
And my name is Rosa Riera.
And my name is Maria Teresa Beaumont.
Okay, let's start, girls. As I have said, my name is Yvette, and I'm proud to present my urban regeneration project. There's an abandoned block of warehouses on the edge of town. Despite of being highly expensive, as we all know, it has had no use for years. My idea is to use it in the best way possible now, as a food bank for those on low income who struggle to avoid hunger. Unfortunately, we need a place like this in our town, as the number of families with no income has sharply increased since the financial crisis in 2007, and especially after the austerity policies and its dire consequences. Although there are healthy people following diets that differ substantially, there's empirical evidence that human beings need fresh vegetables and seasonal fruit on a daily basis. Thus, as well as storing and distributing grain and canned food, which are the typical things to do as a food bank, it could be a good idea to have also veggies and fruits. It could be truly good to have our own farming on the top of the building, as there is enough room for that. We have enough acres available. Plus, it has been a huge success in other towns that are running the same project. Maybe not exactly the same, but similar to. I highly recommend reading about the very same experience in Canada, Montreal. So let's talk about the downside of the project. One possible drawback, and I'm very worried about it, is making people feel ashamed of using a food bank, especially if we take into consideration that we are not talking about people who is used to be poor, who used to be middle class. For this reason, I think that we can work with non-profit organizations and not directly with those who are in need. Another possible drawback is more about ideology. It could be said that food banks are taking steps to erode political support for welfare provision. In other words, we are going to change our mind about the role that the state should play. And we are not used to that in the European countries. Certainly, it should be taken into account that this idea, the idea of food banks, emerged from the United States and is especially well considered for those who are right-winged. The problem is that there are a lot of families suffering right now in our town, and we must do something as soon as possible. I would like to be in a point where places like that, like food banks, are not necessary anymore. But till then, they can play a key role in the battle against poverty. I don't know if there is the questions.
Yes, Yvette. First of all, I think that food banks never disappear. Although I have the hope it can occur one day, as you have said. Well, changing the subject, I have two questions, but both are related.
Okay.
Will the rooftop support the weight of the tree? And the other one, is there maybe room for the roots?
Okay, all these technical problems has been solved this month for our engineers. They have been working
Yeah.
in all this topic about roots, about weight, and about other things, and it's all solved. Plus, I have talked that there are similar projects that are doing a similar thing. So, if we have a problem, we can see how they have solved it.
Okay. And you, Teresa?
Um, I like it, your project. It's very interesting. But I have two questions.
Okay.
One question: what thing needs to start carrying your purpose? That is, if you give money, do you invest first in the building or in the finding food?
Okay, first we have a building in poor condition. So we should refurbish it. That's the first step to do. But after that, we're going to look for businesses, and we have had different plans according to business size because we want everybody to be involved. We want big businesses, medium, small. We are not going to work only with big brands. But first of all, refurbishing the building, of course.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my
Yeah.
proposal?
Yes.
Then, proposal? Okay. Well, my proposal for my local city council is to restore a building which is situated near the university and the old people residence. This building, I think, it is well situated for two different reasons. One of them, it is because it is well connected with buses and underground. And on the other hand, this project will allow interact the young people with the old people. Well, first of all, my idea emerged from my own work. I am teaching and taking in my school, and we normally use the relationship between teenagers and the grandparents to teach one each other. The way in which I will carry this idea, it will be creating an incubator of ideas, a business center where university students could work on their business plan, and elderly people of the residence could help them with their experience. In other words, it could be a center of entrepreneurship where the space, the computers, secretaries, and the area for a snack on, and the area for a playground to and we is shared. Besides, this building will have a study area and a meeting center where the old people could teach courses to the university people and the university people to old people. Okay. The most important question, I think, is how will we pay the restoration? Well, in the first moment, the council should pay the restore of this building, but at a later time, the different business will pay with a portion of its profits. Likewise, maintenance and certain areas will be carried by people for the social inclusion, and also a director who will oversee the activities. Finally, I see more advantages than disadvantages in this project. Well, the main advantage is that it could be a new core business where it will exist an interaction between generations. And the main drawback will be the restore of the building. In short, finally, I think that the incubator of ideas is obviously the future of our youth. We have to help them focus on their ideas. They don't have to go abroad to make this idea reality. I think it will be a good opportunity for them. Wouldn't it, girls? And that's my proposal. That's all. And your questions? Have you any questions?
Yes. Um, two questions, Maria Rosa. What first question? What kind of business could give a course to teach the elderly?
Okay.
Another question. How was building before? If you know what was the building and its features, you can know how much time and money you need or cost for your project.
Well,
Do you
Maria,
understand?
yes, I think. I think. I'm not sure, but I think. Well, for for your first question, my answer is that I think the elderly people, for my experience, what they need is to know the social networks because they use it with difficulty. However, the elderly people will show their experience to the young people, no? And the second
Okay.
one, do you ask me about why the building was restored and how much it costs, no?
Yes.
Well, well, the building the building had many divisions, and it needed to restore them in order to adequate the building, to adequate the space to the new project, with open spaces, with the spaces for meetings, a space for snack on, and a space for playground, a space Google, like Google had. Do you know how Google works? It is very amazing. I think if you go to the YouTube and type work in Google, it's fantastic. It's absolutely different. And my proposal is very similar than Google has. Well, how much it costs? Well, I don't know how much it costs, but I suppose that not so much. I think for the council um, accept my proposal, but I
Okay.
don't know how much it costs. But I think it is not much.
Okay.
Okay,
And you,
my
Yvette?
turn now. I have two questions for you. The first one
Yeah.
is you have talked about university people when talking about just people, but you talk about elderly people without saying an age. And I want to know what ages are we talking about with this project?
Well, for my proposal, the age is not important, I think. The students, there are approximately between 18 to 30, more or less. And as for the elderly, does not matter. Only they should be well, not bad. No, they are well.
Okay, that they could think properly and so on.
Yeah.
And how are you going to choose people for this project? How are you going to know that if they are appropriate for it or not?
Well, it is a good question, and I still hadn't thought. Nevertheless, I think that the idea could take part in a competition Although we have to think better how to do this. This part is for a university student, and I don't know.
Okay, maybe in the next stage you're going to
Yes,
think about it.
yes, yes. This
Okay.
is the problem.
Okay.
And your
Uh,
proposal?
I talk about my new proposal. My project is to revitalize one of the oldest building in the city that has been in use for social problems in the neighborhood. It was formerly a municipally market where you could buy all things such as meat, fish, vegetables, fruits, eggs, and so on. It was a modernist building built in 1980 called Mercat del Pla, with values that we want to promote. These are huge culture and public memory, because it is an area of the city that remind many of the citizens of the popularity. Its power hub. This mercat is located at the top of the historical center of the city of Lleida, my town, my city. Strategic location next to the shopping area. It's a privileged place where cultural and tourist facilities are located as the Art Center Panera, the Tank Water Museum, and other interesting buildings. In addition to begin one of the gates of the Seu Vella, a symbol of the city. Over time, our core of the historic center has been forgotten. Sorry. People went to live elsewhere. The crisis closed the market stores, shopping. Then the streets nearly are full of people with immigrant purchasing powers, very poor, and many social problems like insecurity, prostitution, drugs, illegal bars, as well as the legal status of abandoned lots and buildings near the market degrade the space. Years later, thanks the new neighbors, shopkeepers, restorations, and major civic organizations with their strong personality are encouraged citizens to stroll through its streets. They struggle to pressure the council to begin a new facility aimed at building new stores, shops, and businesses. Initially, the pop-ups stores will be fashion with a mix of well-established brands and emerging designers. The offer focus in fashion, but is also open and other products in the food, which is gaining more importance. In short, Mercat del Pla should be a new shopping experience, a place where brands interact with their customers in the neighborhoods. That's all.
Okay, I have two questions for you, Teresa.
Yes?
When
Tell
do you
me.
think that this building is going to be refurbished?
Sorry?
When do you think that this building is going to be refurbished? Restored?
Okay. If I give me the money for my regenerator project on the modernist building, I think it would take at least a couple of years because you have to ask permissions, papers, and other things, and I need time to do it.
Okay.
Moreover, I need time to make the restorer.
Okay, and another thing, I think it's important to communicate your idea and your project to the neighborhood, to the city, maybe to the tourists. Have you thought
Yeah.
about it? Do you have any plan to communicate it?
Yes, I think one way to publicize this project is through the people who live there. But above all, information and guides of the city that allow visitors to discover the heritage of the city. I think that the key to its success is people word the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Okay, and it is my turn. Teresa, do you know any other area in Lleida to do the same project?
In my town, there are several shopping streets
Yeah.
where there are different types of stores. If I need to buy clothes, you can go to the major street because it's the name of the street. Because you are most shops, but this project allow you to find in one place the same kind of the shops. You can find all the brands, lines, and fashion trends one you want if you want. Do you
Oh,
understand?
yeah, I understand. Yeah. And
This
my
is this
second,
is I answer your question.
yes, you answered my question. Well, and my second one is about the new fashion designers. What kind of clothes they sell in this area? Because I like so much the fashion. And what do you prefer? The casual, business, vintage, active wear, and so on, no?
Okay. At first, original idea was the fashion stores with a mix of well-known branch and collection and lines encapsulates in new trends emerging. But I would highlight the possibility to allocate a space for cooking food.
Ah,
I don't. I prefer different types of clothes because I like different trends by my like. Uh,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
So now we should choose one project.
yes.
I don't know your opinion, but I could choose Maria Rosa's project. I think it's a compelling project, very interesting, and I like the entrepreneurship thing, and you have said something I want to highlight now, and it's you have talked about if you have something like this,
Yeah.
um, just people is not going are not going to go abroad,
Yeah.
and for me
Yes.
that's very important because I have a lot of friends living abroad, in France, United Kingdom, Italy, in
It's
other
true.
countries.
Yes, it's true. I think it will be an opportunity for the young people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I like so much your proposal because I think it is very important. It's a new proposal with bank foods to cultivate, to farm in the rooftop, and to stay with persons who with people who has not nothing to eat. I think it's very important for our society and now in nowadays.
Well, it's a basic need. That's
Yes,
the thing with my project.
yes.
What
And
about
your
you, Teresa?
project.
I think that your project, I will say about before, is very important. It's very interesting because we live in society that unfortunately suffers the horrors of the war, hunger, and poverty by the economic crisis. And this project, your project, allow to help these needs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For
So,
this reason, I choose your project, the food banks, food
food
banks.
banks. Okay.
Sorry.
So finally, we choose mine because we
Yeah.
have two votes.
Mhm.
Okay, fine. I never know how to say goodbye in a exercise like this, but I don't know. Let's see what other students want to say about our projects.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Well,
let's see another exercise.
Okay. Goodbye.
well. Bye
Bye.
bye. See
Bye
you.
bye.